In the silence, he understood that the desert, the wind, and the sun were also trying to understand the signs written by the hand, and were seeking to follow their paths and to understand what had been written on a single emerald.
So most of the lucid dream is that while you are dreaming about the life without any sleep, also in the sleep, that in the dream that you will see so many different people. You will travel into the nice field, or you're also having a different kind of the experience.
Moorish assassin, never boxed in with hashtagging or caught in the net for goat head kids. I'm calling the vet. RFID locators won't work against Oregon. Umbrella won't work when the Korean age pours on. Drenched in Moorish science, send Orisha tsunami monsoons. They play with your mental, don't get locked in their rooms. They're goons, bend your thoughts like spoons and mushrooms. Not the Matrix, the atheists guard us, the aliens. Step off the spaceship escalator with scroll swords of lasers. Blink now standing in mazes beneath skyscrapers. Bodies covered with talk, transparent, it's apparent. The being under the top can't have an earth parent. Looking like the predator, but the hair really was looking like locks. I'm shocked, seeing signs of the no more and when the spaceship docked.
That you may feel that I have done in the past time, or I've done, or I met this person in the sometimes, but you never remember and you have no idea where you met those people and where you done these things. Those are the lucid dreams. And at the moment when you are feeling, you are totally traveling into your journey of what it is you are feeling.
Worlds within worlds, none flat. I thought it was me, till I saw flat earth blasphemers hanging on a tree. Those that lied to Asiatics, making them black, were slaves and lived in shacks. Now that's some payback. Things were reversed, mothers and daughters were clutching their purses when demons came around with Tottenhamite curses. Racial profiling was high tide. Euros were marching in their own communities, committing arson. Pulling Mozart trucks to try original Denny. Second Amendment got him running, body hitting many. Stomping on devil skulls at the top of his lungs, telling me, get in the truck. Don't you know there's no remedy? If you get bitten by one of them, young man, there's no telling what would happen when the zombie's blood mixed with melanin. Some say we'll go back how it used to be. Us no longer in a superior but a minority. Others say you'll rather be dead than have them in your mind. You go crazy when your thoughts and theirs combine. At the same time, zombie reached through the window. I punched it but woke up with my hand through a window.
Experience of the 5 elements into your body. Fire, air, earth, and all the space. Those, when they're turning into your body, sometimes fire can be touched with your consciousness. Sometimes wind will be stronger with the consciousness. Sometimes earth will be stronger with the consciousness. Each element, when they are strong, connecting with your consciousness, then you are feeling a different kind of the dream.
Dream, all made from D's. Your brain shaped like a bee, had pine in the middle, enshrined. Had a dream, noble Jew Ali. Tapes got released, some Moorish mainstream. Real sheiks, all made from sheets, so fine, only thoughts could cut. Sure being, I'm the spirit vibe, the etheric, for you to hear it dually. My raw side got a picture, dark side is the Leo. Great seal in the front, back side is the eagle / phoenix. Rise the helix as it spirals looking like Morris snaps. Climbing Yakub ladder, led me to my head. There's a crown called the Fed, Drew brought it back. Don't be jealous of his fame or nobility, he wasn't joking. My belly stuffed cause his prophecies fulfilling me, deja vu. Yo, I've been here already in a soundproof booth called the room on the 6th day I departed. The flesh is my suit and we all from thought. I came in head first with a dive. I could talk about travel, I ain't no cabbie that drive. I'm all up, so some national pride. I had a dream I met Baphomet side of my bed. He said, Apocalypse now. Most rest I forget, so real, felt the wind of his breath. It wore jewelry, had his hair parted like Dodge Ram, stole his imagery, I bet. Just now, not a long time ago. It really don't look like that, just signs and symbols. I self-law and master. 4 corners, 5 points, 1 star within you.
Most of the coming from not the coming. It is coming from your own wisdom. And what is the wisdom is mostly we talk about your own consciousness.
Up a fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Okay, fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Up a fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Okay, fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Up a fantasy, I'm living in reality. My reality, my reality, my reality. My reality includes no illusion. Facts to a Negro's head gives a contusion. Looking from the marvelous light, I know confusion has you in a fantasy thinking war's a losing. Even though Princess Michael wears Moorish brooches, now I told you what the problem is. Niggas are roaches, still thinking like the colonists and lacking competence. If he didn't diss the birthright, the black psychologist wouldn't be getting put through the ringer over a license. If you don't do anything else be a more, it's priceless. So don't get played buying Moorish papers and cards without first studying. Be a man vanguard. Wake up, stop taking credit from your master's cards. Stay in debt. I bet the lower self you a bet. Higher self you abandon, left notwithstanding. You keep constricting and keep not expanding. Still caught up in debates with the back and forth who you know are still liars, not speaking the truth. Pay for dirty Morse classes, won't study with us. That's blood and shark waters, good luck. You warned, me scorned for strangling feelings, maiming emotions. Reality check, see demons. Salivating, tasting your aura, lust in your passions. Go in meditations, body does devilish actions. Get back to your body, people watching you funny. Wearing skinny jeans with rips grown crisscross dummy and civil little mortus. They sell you out claiming professor. Index you on a list for the oppressor. But you are an heir, true successor. Drew Ali has fought Muhammad's predecessor. Turban with the sun, this and out of feather. High treasonous from the gallows hang together. Silent cowards down to their roots, with no courage or strength to stand for the truth. Challenge corruption, volcanic eruption from youth. Awaken memory banks, reconnecting with Ruth. Not terrified of the birthright. Not terrified of the birthright. Not terrified of the birthright. Know thyself, thoughts, scare and hurt, fright.
Up a fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Get fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Up a fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Get fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Up a fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Get fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Up a fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Get fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Up a fantasy,
Get fantasy, I'm living in reality.
up a fantasy,
Get fantasy, I'm living in reality.
up a fantasy,
Get fantasy, I'm living in reality. Get fantasy, I'm living in reality. Yeah. Get fantasy, I'm living in reality.
Islam. WillofAllah.com. Go get all the Iron Sheik music. WillofAllah.com. So you don't know what you have until you go check. So went to the mailbox this morning. And it's arrived. Dirt. A social history as seen through the uses and abuses of dirt. You never heard about this one. This is one. And when they talk all that niggers and all this stuff and you niggers better and all that, all right. Let's see what's going on here. This day, 7th of June, 1665, much against my will, I did in Drury Lane see 2 or 3 houses marked with the red cross upon the doors, and Lord have mercy upon us, writ there, which was a sad sight to me, being the first of the kind that I my remembrance I ever saw. It put me into an ill conception of myself and my smell. It put me into an ill conception of myself and my smell, so that I was forced to buy some rolled tobacco to smell and to chaw, which took away the apprehension. By July, death was parading openly in the streets. Evelyn noted 1,100 deaths in a week, up to the 16th of July, 2,000 in the following week, 4,000 a week by August 8th, 5,000 in the following week, and 10,000 weekly by the 7th of September. Does this sound like something to you? Does this sound like something to you? You don't want to say certain things because people like to block people's videos and stuff like that. But we're just going to ask you, does that sound like something to you? The chat's not recorded, so chat people, you can say whatever you want in there. But we know the game that they're playing, and we know about the list of all the code words that you say stuff, and then the stuff starts recording you and all, or starts monitoring you or whatever, so they already, as soon as you say whatever, they already have you fact checked. They already have you fact checked. So we're not going to say certain things. I'm just asking you, does this sound familiar to you? Evelyn noted 1,100 deaths in the week up to 16th of July, 2,000 in the following week, 4,000 a week by August 8th, 5,000 in the following week, and 10,000 weekly. How's 10,000 weekly? How's 10,000 weekly? Unless you're talking about a specific population, whoever had this thing, them getting wiped out. And they're the ones who's telling the story and they're panicking. And that's in their community where on their doors, some people got the Red Cross, some people have nothing. Anybody has the Red Cross? Why are you even near enough to see the Red Cross on the door? If it's killing 10,000 people weekly, how are you somewhere and say, hey, that door has a Red Cross on it? You know how close you are to see the Red Cross on the door? Remember, no social distancing back then and stuff like that. No people stepping in and saying, hey, you shouldn't be standing so close because you might catch a cold from that guy over there who doesn't have a cold, but you're going to catch a cold from him because there's a cold going around. But none of you have it. None of you got it. And it's 10,000 a week. So you better watch out. The plexiglass between you and the driver is protecting you from this thing, but the athletes could just go on the field, court, ice or whatever like that, smashing into each other, wiping off sweat, flicking it. And you think something's going on? It's the incompetence of the people why they die. It's the incompetence of the people why they die. You're incompetent if you think, I'm going to go in this car as a Moor and I'm going to write to travel. Let's say write to travel works. Let's say write to travel works. As soon as you go to the dealer and you pay and they give you the car, you're putting your own plates on it and you're just getting in and you're just driving it off the lot. Right? You're incompetent if your mindset is just get in and go behind the wheel and then you don't put in the seatbelt, don't check the mirrors, don't check the tires, don't pull the hood, see, make sure you got oil and all that stuff. You just jumping in and going. You didn't check the brake lights or anything like that. You're incompetent. Because you know how these people do. So you can't be incompetent. You have to have some level of competence for yourself. Not even having to do with anybody else. Because I'm not talking about anybody else, you know what I mean? I got a book, reading it, and then this is what they're talking about in the book. I didn't plan to find this in here, that they're talking about this. However, I went all along the city and suburbs from Kent Street to St. James, a dismal passage, and dangerous to see so many coffins exposed in the streets, now thin of people. The shops shut up, and all the mournful silence, not knowing whose turn it might be next. Sound familiar to you? If this doesn't sound familiar to you, you're incompetent. Sorry. That's just what it is at this point. To London, and went through the whole city, having occasion a light out of the. You think this thing is a game or whatever? Business in the city had almost ceased. On the 16th of August, Pepys recorded that 2 shops in 3 were shut up, and very few people remained. The universal fear of contamination pervaded everyone's behavior. Thence, with a lanthorn in great fear of meeting of dead corpses carried to be buried, but blessed be God, met none, but did see now and then a link, which is the mark of them at a distance. And Pepys again on the 22nd of August, I went away and walked to Greenwich, in my way seeing a coffin with a dead body therein, dead of the plague, lying in an open close belonging to Coombe Farm, which was carried out last night. And the parish have not appointed anybody to bury it, but only set a watch there day and night, that nobody should go hither and come thence, which is a most cruel thing, this disease making us more cruel to one another than if we are dogs. Remember, these Europeans talking. Oh yeah, this is dirt. And again, this is not some planned stuff. I was talking with him more about the book. Oh yeah, we just get this book. And just going through the book, this is what's in here. This talking about what was going on in Europe. 1600s. Who in slavery? What are you talking about? How? How they going through all this in 1660 whatever, but they put some Negroes in slavery somewhere? How? Don't be incompetent. This is 1660. London. (1660) Slave who? Enslave who? How? They can't even go outside. They're locked in the house. They're on lockdown because of a plague outside. Sound familiar to you? Doesn't sound familiar to you, huh? Now they have dead bodies just in the street. Certain people just get shot or murdered by the police and their bodies just in the street. You know where that comes from? That comes from European psychology. Guess who has European psychology? The people who don't call themselves Moors and don't even know they're hexing their self because they don't know the true history. You've been given a fake history. The history's fake. I don't care what you claim. It's fake. It's not real. Because in all those people's history, they're going to tell me about some white man, some European, some pale face, some Edomites or whatever like that that's doing something and whatever. No, they're just being themselves. What are you doing? Don't worry about these Europeans. Look what they come from. We already know how they do. We're the ones that got them out the Dark Ages. What are you talking about? You don't know the Moors. We got them out the Dark Ages. while the Kemetic people and the Hebrew people and the whatever were doing nothing, we stopped the plague from going throughout the entire world and killing everybody. The Moors did that. You want to give honors to the Moors? What you mean? Everybody knows we civilized these people. This is what they were in without us. Plague, can't go outside, red crosses on doors, bodies. Orders concerning infected houses and persons sick of the plague. Notice to be given of the sickness. Huh? What's that to be given? Oh, notice? Oh, okay. Oh, notice is to be given, huh? 1600s. Think these Europeans don't know what Moors are talking about? We taught them everything they know. Notice is law. Notice is common law. Notice is not some, you know what I mean, people with the plague and now they're the demonic people of the planet and they're take over the world. No. Without us, that's what they are. They're not, that's just what it is. Because of who they were given law to go by. And the law came from our ancient foremothers and forefathers because we're the founders of civilization. I don't care what you call it. We're the founders of it. No, you're not the Chinese. We're Asiatic. We're the founders of it. No, but you're not Australian. No, we're the Aboriginals. We're the Aborigines. Dark-skinned people, nappy hair and stuff like that. We're the founders of everything. And this is what was going on in this place called Europe. That's named after a Phoenician, not a modern pale-skinned European. And Europa is an ancient foremother and forefather of the Moors. That's why the Queen wanted to kick the Moors out of Europe and all that. And all these edicts and all this because the people shouldn't be Moors, they have to be black. Them doing that made them fall. Them not having us around made them fall. We're dealing with what they were dealing with then. And how parallel it is to some interesting things going on right now. And what you're not realizing that it's history repeating itself because you're thinking like the European, because you're the founders of everything. You're not thinking like an Asiatic. You're thinking like Negro, black, colored. Okay, so then that's what you're gonna get. Which is where right now we're in the dark ages right now. You think we could go live and all that stuff? Stuff's good. Stuff's good. There's guys, men being women right now, and women being men because they don't feel like they're that gender or whatever issues that they never dealt with. That's their fallback. Stuff was off until the Moors showed up. Fixed everybody up quick, fast. Because you already know cleanliness is next to godliness. And if you're talking about the Moors, and when you look up Moors in Google Images or Bing Images or Firefox Images, whatever search engine you want to use, ain't no Negro, black, colored looking people coming up. Orders concerning infected houses and persons sick of the plague. notice to be given of the sickness. The master of every house, as soon as anyone in his house complaineth, either of blotch or purple, or swelling in any part of his body, or falleth otherwise dangerously sick, without apparent cause of some other disease, shall give knowledge thereof to the examiner of health within 2 hours after the said sign shall appear. So all this medical whatever stuff that they're playing around right now is actually office of the examiner of health. The examiner of health implies guinea pig. That's why the smoking guy is Surgeon General. Surgeon is General. So they already know what they're doing. It's all replay of what they've already done, because Europeans naturally are retroactive. They can't create anything. So all they do is repeat the same stuff. And then the incompetent is going with it. Yeah, we're black and all that stuff. Yeah, we're the Indians, the black Indians, and the roles, because our genealogy of the roles and all this. Sequestration of the sick. As soon as any man shall be found by this examiner, chirurgian, or searcher, to be sick of the plague, he shall the same night be sequestered in the same house. And in case he be so sequestered then, though he afterward die not, the house wherein his sicket shall be shut up for a month. For a month. What are they saying? Lockdowns are what, 20 days or something like that? 28 days? It's a month, right? Shutting up of the house. If any person shall have visited any man knowing to be infected of the plague, or entered willingly into any knowing infected house, being not allowed, the house wherein he inhabiteth shall be shut up for certain days by the examiner's direction. By the examiner's direction? Isn't that the same thing going on now? There are some medical people running government. Now you don't get it? How medical people running government? No, well, they're just there as the liaison for the virus, and no, they're not. They're the government right now, the medical people. They know that. It's not, no secret. They know what they're doing. They're a private corporation. They know what they're doing. What are you doing? Are you realizing what's going on? Or are you pretending like everything's all right? Every visited house to be marked. That every house visited be marked with a red cross of a foot long in the middle of the door, evident to be seen, and with these usual printed words, that it say, Lord have mercy upon us, to be set close over the same cross, there to continue until lawful opening of the same house. Keep in mind, this is the stuff that they're doing to businesses right now. One of good enactment, had it only been carried out, was the resolve of the city authorities to keep the streets cleaner. Orders for cleansing and keeping of the streets sweet. Right? And then this is the whole, wash your hands, use a sanitizer, wear something on the face. This is all the problem created, and then now we also have the cure for the problem that we created. So then the people should be beating these people's ass, because why create the problem if you already had the solution to solve the problem? Why don't you just not do anything? Oh, because they're playing you, because your wards thinking that you have some say in something. You go march out there, you have a license. Where are you going? You marching with a license against the people who gave you the license? How? But Moors don't know what we're talking about. Orders for cleansing and keeping of the streets sweet. The streets to be kept clean. First, it is thought necessary and so ordered that every householder do cause the street to be daily prepared before his door, and so to keep it clean, swept all week long. You know how dirty this stuff is? So they're living in a state of absolute chaos right now because they weren't clean to begin with. Right? Off the top, they weren't clean. Like when you go through the other parts of the book where they talk about how they were living, these Europeans, there's no way they were taking somebody to some slave ship anywhere. There's no way. It's absolutely impossible that some Europeans enslaved some black people. It's impossible. Somebody's been lying. Somebody's been lying, trying to create a fake narrative that really doesn't exist. These people were throwing feces out the window to get rid of it. Before the Moors, they were just throwing stuff out the window. Doesn't matter if people are walking on the bottom or anything like that. Imagine living like that. That rakers take it from out the houses, that the sweeping and filth of houses be daily carried away by the rakers, and that the raker shall give notice of his coming by the blowing of a horn, as to hitherto hath been done. Raker. The town garbage man. Loyalists to be made far off from the city, that the lay stalls be removed as far as may be out of the city, and common passages, and that no nightman or other be suffered to empty a vault into any garden near about the city. There's only certain things you could use for compost. Care to be had of unwholesome fish or flesh, and of musty corn, that special care be taken that no stinking fish, or unwholesome flesh, or musty corn, or other corrupt fruits of what sort soever be suffered to be sold about the city, or any part of the same, that the brewers and tippling houses be looked onto for musty and unwholesome casks, that no hogs, dogs, or cats, or tame pigeons, or connies be suffered to be kept within any part of the city, or any swine to be stray in the streets or lanes, but that such swine be impounded by the beadle or any other officer, and that the owner punished according to the Act of Common Council, that the dogs be killed by the dog killers appointed for that purpose. Right? Their whole federal, municipal, provincial, state, whatever system is based on how they used to live in Europe. It's not your stuff. Right? The Act of Common Council, the dog killers are the dog catcher guys. And then the dog catcher turned into the slave catcher, and the slave catcher turned into the highwayman. Right? Remember, they just said that they had to put it out there. No more pigs just roaming the street. What is it? Animal Farm. You don't realize the pattern, them only they're just around animals around? Didn't you say no hogs, no dogs, no cats, no pigeons, nothing? This is what they were living like without the Moors. And these people are who you're looking to emulate or whatever? These people. You don't want the ancestors' name, you want these people's name. Smith and Jones Johnson. Tame pigs and stuff like that. What are you talking about? Oh, let's get this last part. The orders then go on to forbid begging, plays, bear baiting, singing of ballads, buckler play, public feasting, disorderly tippling, and frequenting coffee houses after 9 o'clock at night. Let's just read that again, because some people are incompetent, so we just want to read this again. Remember, this is 1660s Europe. The orders then go on to forbid begging, plays, bear baiting, singing of ballads, buckler play, public feasting, disorderly tippling, and the frequenting coffee houses after 9 o'clock at night. It is a pity that the clerks who drew up these rules for the St. John Lawrence, Lord Mayor, and Sir George Waterman and Sir Charles Doe sheriffs do not go further and specify the exact degree of disorderliness in the tippling that should merit punishment. In other parts of the document, one is struck with helpless wonder at the cold-blooded bureaucratic mind that could specify the size of the Red Cross and the wording of the notice that spelled a dreadful death for whole households. This is what they were living under before the Moors. The shutting up of houses was at first counted a very cruel and unchristian method, and poorer people so confined made bitter lamentations. Complaints of the severity of it were also daily brought up to my Lord Mayor of houses causelessly, and some maliciously shut up. The same severe policies were adopted all over the country, and anyone unfortunate to fall ill from whatever cause, and with any symptom even slightly resembling the plague, keep the matter quiet. That remind me of my mom saying she was on the bus and she wanted to sneeze and didn't want to sneeze. Because she didn't want anybody to think that she had something. The same severe policies were adopted all over the country, and anyone unfortunate enough to fall ill for whatever cause and with any symptoms even slightly resembling the plague kept the matter quiet for as long as possible. Otherwise, at the earnest request of his neighbors, he might find his house shut up and his household imprisoned. Sir Richard Fanshawe, traveling in Ireland, must have had an unpleasant shock one morning on awaking. As soon as my husband has put on his gown and began to put on his stockings, he called me saying, "My heart, what great spots are these on my legs? Sure, it is the plague, but I am very well and feel nothing." At which I ran out of the bed to him and saw my own legs in the same condition. And upon examining the cause, we found that the sheets being short and the blankets full of fleas. We had these spots made by them. Conditions in houses of some did nothing to discourage rats and their attendant fleas. So that plague spread despite all the regulations. Sanitation was as bad as ever, or even deteriorating in the towns as the population of the degree of overcrowding increased, and the perennial problem of waste disposal received its perennial answer. October 20th, 1660. This morning one came to advise with me where to take me a window into my cellar in lieu of one which Sir W. Batten had stopped up. And going down into my cellar to look, I stepped into a great heap of, by which I found that Mr. Turner's house of office is full and comes into my cellar, which do trouble me, but I shall have it helped. Samuel was rather fastidious for his day. Less fond of dogs than his king, Charles II was tolerant of dogs, and the court habitually stank of them. He threatened to throw his wife's dog, which her brother gave her, out of the window if it made any more messes in the house. On another occasion, he confined it to the cellar for the same reason. Presumably, the dog could make little difference to the inroads already made by Mr. Turner's privies. On the other hand, in the case of necessity, Pepys' notions of etiquette were different from those of Emily Post. September 28th, 1665. And so I to bed, and in the night was mightily troubled with the looseness, I suppose, from some fresh damp linen that I put on this night, and feeling for a chamber pot, there was none. I having called the maid up out of her bed, she had forgot to suppose to put one there. So I was forced in this strange house to rise and shit in the chimney twice, and so to bed was very well again. This is where they were at, without the Moors. So don't get too excited about their stuff. Recognize that it's not a thing of, we hate somebody or whatever like that. It's about the information. And the information is you haven't been told the full story. People told you fictions in order to justify their fraudulent whatever they were trying to put you on. Try to tell you that's what it's about. But all these nigger leaders aren't gonna do. All these nigger leaders aren't gonna do like Sylvester Johnson and put the Moorish Americans on the cover for the African American religion's history between the 1500s to 2000. Remember, this is 1600 something. But this author is making reference to African American religions from 1500 to 2000, and he has the Moors on the cover. None of the Hebrews on the cover. None of the Rastas on the cover. You didn't the split cover and put everybody on it. No, he put the Moors on the cover. So that we had a mindset before we adopted their mindset. Our mindset had us like this at a time. This is how our mindset had us. Now, our mindset has us completely opposite this because we've had this mindset. We've had the dirt mindset. Because we've had the dirt mindset, that's what we get. Because we should have this. We don't want this. We want European mindset. All right. So if you want European mindset, then you get the European stuff. Then you get place locked down. And them telling you 10,000 a week died so you can't go outside, and then you're not going because, you're going to get something, but it's not coming through your windows of your house, but you're going to get something. It's not coming through that little breeze in the vent. But 10 million people died yesterday. Oh my gosh, it's a pandemic. This is what it was. Think there was pandemic going on or other? People worry about Spanish flu or whatever? Why? It's not in our jurisdiction. We have our own jurisdiction. We have our own businesses. We have our own everything. We don't need to go anywhere for anything as Moors. Where are we going? Everything we need, we know a Moor. That we're going to go get whatever we need. And all your leaders sold you out so you don't have this. And then they could keep this stuff going. European psychology mindset. Don't want us to be Moors. Why? Why don't they want you to be this? Why don't they want you to be this? Like, what's wrong with being this? Just look at this. What's wrong with being this? If they see a bunch of this walking on the street, you think they're going to be talking about kill niggers and stuff like that? if they see a bunch of this walking down the street, you think they're going to be concerned? Moorish names are on the user. So a good story is there's a Moor that declared his nationality. Right? Declared his nationality, changed his name, all that. Had some situations with highwaymen or whatever like that, and then went to court one day, and his name was an ancient Egyptian name. So he went to court one day, and when he put his name on the record, the judge looked at him, pulled his glasses down, looked over the top of his glasses, and said, "You mean the," and then whatever the Egyptian name was. Then his stuff got dealt with. They didn't want to deal with him. But the highlight of the story is he was listening to MHHS one time, and they were talking about research the actual name that you're born with. Because, you know, spirit moves in funny ways. He's like, cool, you know what I mean? He goes, does research or whatever like that on the name, comes back that the name that he was named actually meant more. So his mindset was, oh, this name I have is a European name, so then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get my name and get my card, and now I'm going to be whatever. When he went and checked, and guess what he did? He didn't get rid of the slave name now. Now it's his. And he's claiming it. Right? If, for example, right, Josh is really Joshua. Joshua is really Yahshua. Yahshua. So if you say Yahshua El Bey, that could be the name, for example. Right? You might have been studying Vedic information or whatever, and there's some name in there that resonates with you because, you know, whatever. Then El or Bey on that, and that's the name. Because I'm earth sign, so, you know what I mean? We just, certain things, it's just what it is. There's not no 500 million hours studying about a name to pick a name. Like, you just name it. Oh, yeah, status and all that stuff? Okay, Bay on that, and that's it. Let's go. Let's be Moors now. You know, but some people like the, you know what I mean, the extra stuff. So if you have to do the extra stuff, you can go from the astrology perspective to find a name. You can go from the you know, what was the name you were given, and what does that mean in different languages? What other names are that in different languages? There might be a name like your name's Ken, for example. You know, your name's Ken Johnson. Well, I don't want to be that. All right. Well, you know, you could put but I really like that name Ken or whatever, then yeah, you could, do a, QHEN or KHEN. You do something and put Bay on that, and because the Bay and the L is that's where you're getting the sovereignty from. The sovereignty doesn't have to do with Shaka Zulu, L, and then that's the no. The sovereignty comes with the free national name, the title. So saying Bay or Day or Al or Ali or that's where the power comes from. You're just attaching yourself to the power. And again, it's going to be on the user. Don't look at, well, I said to do this, so then I'm going to, no, just, if you don't, it'll hit you what you want to be called. You know what I mean? It's a little egotistical, because why would you care? You know what I mean? Man is spirit, and they can call me whatever. Not going to take away from anything really and truly. They can say John. All right? That's your opinion. That has nothing to do with me. Right? Yeah, but again, it doesn't matter because Africans are Moors. It's not like Africans aren't Moors that you can't say Senegalese name or something like that. Like, all these people are Moors. We've been conditioned that everybody's separate, even though everybody looks alike. But they're separate. Yeah, you and I aren't brothers because you're light and I'm dark, or we're not brothers. And then she's slim and she has the jawline, so they're not brothers. All right, whatever. Everybody's Moors. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. And it's yours. Like the name's yours. The flag over there, flag doesn't belong to Moorish Science Temple or nothing like that. Flag's your flag. Like fez doesn't belong to Moors. That's your fez. That's your cloth that you wrap for your turban. It's not Noble Drew Ali's work. That's your stuff he brought for you. He brought it to you. He took it, saved the nation, and then gave it to you until you save yourself. And then people who were supposed to take it and save themselves and then give it down to the whatever, they just kept it saved themselves, played like this was some type of club or whatever like that. You're going to get certain information when we say you're ready to get it and all that stuff. And this thing went into masonry or whatever. But, like I said, Drew Ali brought you everything it takes to save a nation. So nobody could play hide something. Because the key is nationality. Once you go and you start looking toward nationality, that nationality opens up into such a broad jurisdiction that you know the Noble Drew Ali was on it, telling us that we are a nation and we have a nationality. You knew exactly what he was doing. And everybody didn't follow suit because they wanted dirt. They don't want what their ancient foremothers and forefathers had. They don't want that. They want dirt. And they want to talk crazy about Moors. And they're the problem. Honest all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the mothers. Study, study, study. Don't forget MHHS, Eyes Wide Open, Blog Talk Radio, 9 p.m. or 7:30 p.m. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Yeah, the only question was, what book is this? So we did our job today. Peace and love to all the Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors. Islam.